Hello everyone, just before the video begins I thought I'd tell you that this December I'll be doing a 12-hour charity live stream to raise money for Young Minds, a UK mental health charity. There will be many Doctor Who YouTubers in the community who will join me for this exciting event, and if you want to support the fundraiser, then the donation link can be found in the description below. Anyway, let's get on to the video. Hello everybody, I am Ace Creeper and today I'm back with a brand new video. Today we're going to talk about the Tsuranga Conundrum. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah, I've got a few strong opinions on this episode actually. So, it also gives us our first look at actually the first half of Series 11. Where did it go? How is the general consensus? How's it going? But we'll talk about everything else first. So we're going to go through story, characters, best bits, and then overall score. So first of all, the story. They start off in a junkyard, get hit by a sonic mine, and they end up in hospital. That's the main crew. And as they're on the way to a sort of medical ship, like a full proper big medical hospital where they're all going to get treated, or everyone else on the ship is. It's like more like a big space ambulance that they're on. This thing called a pating arrives on the ship and starts to try and rip it apart, trying to eat the biggest energy sources or whatever. It eventually leads to the Doctor locking that away in a pod and then zapping it into space. Pretty much, there's not much story here. It's quite weak, and you could very much sum it up in the space of a minute or 2 minutes, which isn't good, really. But the way I describe it is it's a Sainsbury's basic version of Alien. It was good, but it wasn't at the same time. It was very mixed. And I'm going to be fair to it. I'm going to be fair to the bits that I liked and the bits that I didn't like. But first of all, we'll go through each of the characters. The Doctor. Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, again, smashes it. I think she was generally a good character. I think I'm feeling her more as the Doctor now than I did at the beginning of the series, which is definitely good. I'm feeling it. I'm not even questioning, like, oh, is she good, is she bad? No, she's just the Doctor, and that's it. I'm accepting it. So I really, really like Jodie's performance in this episode. The companions, again, I thought were all actually quite decent. I've been a little bit put off by Ryan, like just bits and bats of what he does and some things he says and the way he says stuff. It just makes me go, ooh, you know, oh, I'm not so keen on Ryan. I think he was probably my least favourite, and you know, he probably still is, but I think he's on par with Yaz at the moment for me now. I feel like Twisson Cole did an excellent job with the acting in this episode. He put it forward a lot, and he put his all into it. Graham's just Graham, and is always brilliant and funny in everything he says, in his line delivery, in everything. He's doing absolutely excellent. And Yaz was good again, but again just kind of 2D, not very there. She could have been a cardboard cutout for the first 20 minutes. Yes, she did some zapping on the pating, and she helped out, and she had a few good one-liners with the Doctor towards the end. And she did hold an important part in the story, but she didn't get much dialogue. And I want to see her develop. And the bits of dialogue she did get were question, 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 question. Like with Ryan trying to work out what's happened. Oh, how did his mum die? What's all the stuff about his dad? It's like question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. It's like when I can notice that it's someone writing this and it doesn't feel natural, it drags me right out of the episode, which is unfortunate. And I don't. Again, it's not Mandy Gill's fault. I think she's still doing a great job with what she's been given. I just think the script writing overall in this episode was a bit weaker than it usually is. Again, not terrible, and I will put it out there. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed In the Forest of the Night and Kill the Moon and a couple of other. I mean, the girl who died, for example, the woman who lived, even. There's a few episodes in like Capaldi, Smith. There's a few episodes in every era which are passable but just forgettable, and that is this episode really in a nutshell. It's a very, very, very basic episode that makes you think, yeah, this is just filler. It really is just filler. And it's not a big thing. It just got me, that's all. But yeah, talking about the characters in general, what else do I want to say about Yaz? I think there was a very much question and answer. Again, with the whole antimatter thing. It was like, oh, I never understood this at school. Explain it to me, please, Doctor. Oh, sure, Yaz. This is everything and everything and everything. This is what I didn't want from an educational thing. I want an educational to be that it's part of the story, and the kids go, oh, yeah, I get that. Or I don't know what antimatter is, so I'm going to go, oh, that's cool. And I know that now. I know how that thing works because it was explained. But it was explained to me, not to the characters. It was like, oh, you want to know about this? Sure thing, Yasmin Khan. I'll tell you all about this. you know, it's like you're talking to the audience as much, and it didn't feel as natural in my opinion, and which is a bit of a shame because I actually did want to like this episode. I thought the other characters were great. Again, Chibnall does an excellent job of fleshing out characters. All the characters in this felt real. They felt like real characters with real stories and real scenarios, and I really, really did like that. So, as much as I do kind of point to Chibnall and go, this episode wasn't written as well as your previous ones in this series, at the same time, I like it in the aspect of that it develops the characters, if you know what I mean. It really goes into detail with all of the characters that are there, and the characters that we don't need much detail on, the one at the beginning, dead, doesn't matter, he's gone, he's dead, he blew up, sorted, and that's fine. I didn't need to know much about him, I didn't really want to know much about him, and it was just sort of over. What I thought was interesting is two of the characters actually touched upon the fact that, wait a minute, you're the Doctor. It would have been so good to have another scenario from Under the Lake or Before the Flood where they actually knew who the Doctor was. And they were actually able to play off that a little bit. And the Doctor was able to like show off a little bit, or maybe not live up to her expectation, and then for having a bit of a dramatic moment like, I'm sorry I've disappointed you, sort of thing. I really liked that idea, but it didn't really go anywhere. It was more touched upon. So they may as well have not known the Doctor, and that line may as well have not been in there. So, yeah, it's alright. The monster, the Pating. Oh dear. So, I was expecting this to be a lot worse. I was expecting this to actually be really adorable. And I will say here, the Pating is like the Star Wars Last Jedi Porg. They are made to sell plushies, potentially. We'll see where the merchandise goes with the series. It looks like a plushie, but at the same time, I didn't mind it. I just wish that Doctor Who had the balls to do something, even if it was just a blatant parody of Alien. Just have some big, proper, scary monster that is fast-moving and goes around the ship. It's space, you can do anything, but instead we've got a tiny little Absorbaloff baby. And don't say it isn't. It is the Absorbaloff, because all it does is just eat and eat and eat and eat. Jodie even said, oh, absorb the blast. I'm thinking, oh god, it's the Absorbaloff. I know it's not the Absorbaloff, but that's kind of what it felt like. It just took in loads of different things. Like, it absorbed bits and bats of the ship instead of people, just machinery. If its intention was to just gather energy, I felt like we could have seen more of that. You know, we only saw the Pating for a few scenes, and I'm not complaining, you know, but if you're going to go with that for the monster, I want to see more of it. I thought the CGI of the monster was good, but I can't help but continue to think that it was just made to sell toys. And I really, you know, it's getting the Star Wars treatment. You know, the Porgs, I liked them, I didn't mind. And the Pating, I liked it, I didn't mind. But it could have been so much more. You know, the Porgs you couldn't do anything with. They had to be like birds for the island, you know. The Pating, it was the alien. It was the xenomorph of this story. They could have done more with that, in my opinion. But, you know, again, you know, they could have done more with it, but at the same time, why? You know, it is a kids' show, and it did serve its purpose. It was just a bit disappointing that they went for something as cute looking. I mean, when Jodie fired it out of the ship, I wish it had just exploded. You know, like just like burst in space, like it should do, just like poof, like that. And its little adorable face getting splattered across the screen. I mean, that would have been better, because, you know, I just feel like it focused too much on it being cute, that it didn't feel like the universe's deadliest enemy or monster, is what the description said on the Twitter page earlier this morning. That did not feel like the universe's deadliest monster, you know? It's such a shame that we get more of that than we got of, like, the Fisher King from Before the Flood, which actually was imposing, had a deep voice, was big and powerful, and could have stood so much more with that. And then we get more time with this little baby Absorbaloff. Overall, best bits, worst bits. The score, again, Sigur Nakanola, you are a musical genius and I absolutely love you. You're great at doing it. Building suspense, ambient background music, I don't care. You're great at doing it, and I really, really hope he sticks with this show for as long as Murray Gold did, because Sigur knows what he's doing with this. He's really, really good at it. I genuinely believe that. I love it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, and the pregnant man thing wasn't that bad. I thought that was quite funny, actually. I think the communications between Graham and Ryan and the pregnant man I thought were quite funny and amusing, and I like the idea that it wasn't a sort of political spin on Earth, but it was actually like, oh yeah, men and women can both have kids. Men give birth to guys and women give birth to girls. Kind of weird alien thing, but I really liked that. I thought that was quite cool. The set design was good. I thought the CGI was good. I think all the design elements were excellent, and I will actually point that out, that that's the only thing that redeems it for me, is that I actually didn't feel like this was a set, and I actually kind of felt like this was a real spaceship. You had the shots of it flying through space, but as well, it was so sci-fi and futuristic that I actually really thought, I'm believing that they're on a spaceship. I'm actually believing that. I'm feeling the suspense of like, come on, come on. You know, it got me engaged in that sense, but I feel like the main flaw of this episode is that it dragged. It really dragged. This could have been half an hour. This could have been 25 minutes even, you know. It shouldn't be, because Doctor Who should be an hour, in my opinion. But it felt like this episode could have been condensed. It felt like you got a really short and simple concept and just dragged it. And when you drag any concept, the audience can see that. And I think that's what I got from this. So, overall, it was quite a disappointing episode. But it had its positives that I don't think people are going to acknowledge, because I think people, if they don't like something, they're going to complain about it. I'm not. I'm going to be fair to it. I think a lot of things about this episode were decent. I think it was just done wrong. I think it felt like a filler episode. But on the positive hand, I am very much looking forward to Demons of the Punjab next week. That actually looks really good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping they don't let me down. So overall, for this episode, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. That might seem a bit generous to some, but you know, I'm giving it benefit of the doubt, really. I don't think I'm going to watch this episode again, but I didn't find it as boring as In the Forest of the Night, Kill the Moon, and a few other previous stories. I mean, like dinosaurs on a spaceship. I know some of them have got actual enjoyability factors in them, but this just didn't work for me. But it was better than a few older ones. Goal. It has positives, but it has strong negatives, and that's, to me, what drags it down. Anyway, the first half of this series, how has it been going? I love it. I think Jodie's great as the Doctor. I love the new Tardis team. I love the Tardis interior, exterior, sonic screwdriver, and I love that. And if you've got that bang on, as well as the fantastic music, the wonderful set design, and the astronomically good CGI in this series, then it doesn't matter. I feel like you can get away with the occasional crap story, and I think that's where we've gotten here. I think the first 4 episodes, yes, some of them may have dragged. The Ghost Monument dragged a little bit as well, but it felt good, and I really liked all 4. You know, I loved the first 4 episodes, despite their minor flaws. This episode dragged a little bit, but you know, 4 out of 5 is not bad at all. So anyway, let's see how the rest of the series does, and I will see you next week with Demons of the Punjab. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment below for any more suggestions in the future, subscribe if you haven't already. Please do check out the donation link for the charity fundraiser in the description below, and I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.